My name is Chris, and today I want to talk to you about my morning routine and how that routine changed after I quit smoking. I want to tell you what my life used to be like when I was a smoker, what it's like now, and why it was so important for me to change my morning routine if I wanted to not just quit smoking but enjoy long-term freedom from my addiction to nicotine. When I was a smoker, especially towards the end when I was getting through easily 2 packs a day, I'd wake up, open my eyes, and the very first thing that I would do would start coughing. Not just a little but a big, retching, overwhelming cough that would feel like my lungs were being scraped with a knife and turned inside out. I quite often say I would cough my lungs out, or I'd cough my lungs up, because that's what it felt like. It felt like I was literally coughing the entirety of my lungs out of my mouth. I know that sounds disgusting. It was disgusting, and it got even more disgusting because there would be times on at least a handful of occasions that I had done so much damage to my lungs that I would cough until I threw up. Maybe not a big wretched throw up, but just enough. Again, I appreciate that's disgusting. I'm sorry if that's just made you go bleh and turn this video off. But that's what it was like. I would cough so much and so hard for so long every single morning without fail. And here's where the lunacy of addiction comes in, I would go, oh my goodness, cigarettes are clearly killing me. I can literally feel them destroying me from the inside out. So you know what I need now that I've stopped coughing? I need to go and have a cigarette. And that's what I would do. I would cough, 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 and then go into my kitchen, because for some reason I designated my kitchen as my smoking place. I would go into my kitchen and light up a cigarette, putting more toxic gunk, more poison into my lungs, doing more damage that I would just have to cough up again the following day. It was insane. And as I was smoking, I'd put the coffee machine on, the coffee would brew, I'd take my coffee into the living room, I'd drink my coffee, and then the coffee would trigger another craving, which I then had to go and quell by going back into the kitchen and smoking another cigarette. Whilst I was smoking that cigarette, I made more coffee, so then I go back, drink more coffee, do some more coughing, and then go and have another cigarette over and over again, this same insane routine. And I did this so much until I just got sick and tired of it and knew I wanted to make a change. So I tried to quit smoking. And I very quickly noticed that when I tried to quit smoking, I would have all these triggers, all these situations where I used to smoke. I'd go into them and some part of my addictive mind would go, well, okay, you're in this situation and you normally smoke, so I'm going to pester you until you smoke or do something about it. And the biggest trigger of them all in the early days was simply waking up. I'd wake up, I wouldn't be coughing as bad. Now I don't cough at all when I wake up. And something would go, okay, we're awake, where's that cigarette that we normally have? I say we like there's two of me, but you know what I mean. It would be like, okay, I'm up and I normally smoke now, so where's that cigarette? I'm supposed to be smoking. I don't know what to do. And I would get all anxious and nervous and the cravings would come on and I wouldn't quite know what to do. And then I'd go into the kitchen to go and get some coffee And I go, okay, I'm in the kitchen. This is the smoking place. I always smoke in the kitchen, so why am I not smoking now? Oh my God, I'm triggered, I'm craving, I need a cigarette. I need a cigarette because it's normal for me to have one. And then I get the coffee and I drink it, and that would be another trigger. And I knew through experience that if I kept allowing myself to just walk blindly into these triggers, I was going to end up smoking again. So I had to do something about it. And I very quickly changed the way that I dealt with my mornings. And the way I first used to deal with it is not the way that I deal with it with my mornings now, but it's the way that I had to deal with it in the early days when I first quit smoking. So the first thing that I did was I knocked caffeine on the head completely. I cut caffeine out of my life. I can drink caffeine now in small quantities because it doesn't give me the trigger for a cigarette like it used to. And that's one of the great things about quitting smoking. The longer we stay away from a cigarette, the more things that used to bother us no longer do. But back then, if I had a cup of coffee, I'd be going, well, I need a cigarette to go with this coffee because this is how it works. And I'd get all kinds of cravings. So I cut out coffee. And I'd either just drink water or I'd drink green tea or something like that, just to help me ease into my day. And I'd also have all this extra time on my hands. Actually, no, I'll tell you about that in a moment. What I also did was I put a book in my kitchen that would just be there for me to use and to read whenever I was in that room. Because like I said, I designated my kitchen as my smoking place. So every time I walked into the kitchen, I was triggered, I started craving. Now, I couldn't spend the rest of my life not going into my kitchen because that's where all the food is, and I like food. I'm hungry, I need to go in there. So I had to find a way for it to be okay to be in that kitchen without lighting up a cigarette every single time. So I just took a book and I placed it down on the counter. And if I was warming up some soup in the microwave or waiting for the kettle to boil to make some tea, I would just get the book and read a couple of pages. In fact, sometimes I didn't even read the pages because I couldn't, because I was craving so bad, and I was so in my addictive mind of, oh my goodness, I want a cigarette, that all I could do was hold the book in my hands and just look at it. Because you know what? If I'm using both of my hands to hold a book, then I have no hands free to hold a cigarette. And the good thing is that, soup takes a couple of minutes, tea takes a couple of minutes, then I can get out of the kitchen and breathe and relax. And then I no longer, that craving passes. Most cravings pass within 5 minutes, within 20 minutes. Very rarely do they last any longer than that. So that was what I just had to deal with it for a very small period of time. And that's how I dealt with it. Now, as I was about to say, I also found that I had all this extra time because I wasn't spending the first 5 minutes of my day coughing my lungs up. I wasn't spending the first hour or so of my day going back and forth in this vicious cycle of cough, cigarette, coffee, coughing, cigarette, coffee. Just polluting my body and feeling my body physically try to get rid of all the poison I was putting into it and going, no, you will have more poison. So I had all this extra time now that I no longer had to do all this. So I found other things to do. Again, I got a book and I put it on my coffee. I don't know if you've noticed this, I quite like books, I quite like reading. So I put another book on my coffee table along with a journal. And I would just get up, get my tea, sit down, read, normally play some kind of relaxing music, write a couple of pages in my journal, and then go about my day. Now, a couple of years later, that has formed like I want to say nucleus, but I'm not sure that's the right word for it. It's formed like the basis of what my entire morning routine is. These days, now that I'm a couple of years smoke free, I will get up in the morning, open my eyes, and I tend to just lie there and just appreciate the new day and appreciate, oh my God, I feel better than I've ever felt in my life now that I no longer smoke. I no longer have that, oh my God, I've got to go and cough my lungs up. I'll just lie there and take it in for a minute. Get up, go through the whole bathroom routine, which I'm sure you don't want to hear about, and then into the kitchen. The great thing, like I say, about all the things that used to trigger us, all the things that used to make us crave a cigarette when we are first quitting, eventually no longer bother us. So I go into my kitchen these days and I don't think about smoking. I don't need a book. I don't need anything. I can just go about my life. And for me, going about my life these days is when I'm in the kitchen, I'll play classical music. I love classical music. It just seems like the most perfect way to start the day, just playing a little classical music whilst drinking a full pint of water. Not down in one, but just to take my time and drink a glass of water just to rehydrate. Because I've just been lying down for 7-8 hours. I haven't had any liquid in my body. So I'll just take time to rehydrate. And I do this because I know how useful and beneficial it is to drink lots of water. I also know that sometimes I can get so swept up in my day that it gets to bedtime and I go, hang on, I haven't had enough water today. But if I start my day every single day with this one glass of water, then it doesn't matter whatever else happens. At least I've had one. At least I've had a good start, if not a good finish. Next, I'll just do a little bit of stretching. Nothing out of the ordinary. I stretch back, I stretch side to side. I spend a lot of time sitting down for my day job, so anything that gets my back moving is good for me. I do a lot of running, so my legs are always sore. So I'll do a lot of stretching on my legs just to get my body moving and the blood pumping. Because again, I've just been lying down for 7-8 hours. My body's all stiff and weird. So I do that as well. And then I consider that to be my, I've taken care of my physical body for the morning. That won't be the only thing I do all day to take care of it, but at least I've started the day being conscious and mindful of my body and how I'm feeling and what I'm doing to take care of it, of me. And then I can go on with the rest of the day. The next part of my morning routine is I'll make something to drink. Sometimes these days it is caffeine, sometimes it's just like green tea. And again, that's the benefit of it is, I can drink a coffee every now and again. I don't drink too much of it because it doesn't do me any good. But I can have at least one coffee now because I can have a coffee and at no point am I ever triggered to have a cigarette. Go into the front room where my coffee table is, sit down and just have some quality Chris time. I'll play some more music. It doesn't have to be like classical. I tend to play like ambient music or just something nice and relaxing. Just sit back, have my drink and read. And this ensures that once I get into the day, once I start work and the stress and all these things piling on top of me, at least I've had some time today that is just for me. I know some people have like goals and they say, oh, I have to read 10 pages of a book every day, or I have to do X amount of this or X amount of that. I don't like putting that kind of pressure on myself, because then if for some legitimate reason I don't read 10 pages of a book, then I start to go, well, I didn't do this and I failed my goal and all this. Well, no, I read until I don't want to read anymore. And then I get out my journal. And my journaling has changed over the years. Sometimes it's reflective. Right now I'm really into affirmations, so I just write a page of affirmations at the minute. But there's always some aspect of it that is gratitude. I can start my day reflecting on what is good. Then I set myself up for a good day. So right now I have 2 journals. They're just like down there. One is my gratitude journal. One is my affirmations journal. My reflective journal is somewhere else. But like I say, I'm not really giving that as much time as I should, really, because I do really think journaling can be such a remarkable tool for so many parts of our life. And that's basically my morning routine. Then I'll get up and I'll wash and I'll set myself up for the day and I'll eat breakfast and get into it. It doesn't sound amazing. You know, I'm not climbing mountains. I'm not going to 6 a.m. yoga classes. I'm not drinking some amazing kale smoothie. I'm just having a much better morning than I used to have when I coughed my lungs up every day. Like I say, there are probably people who have way more exciting, way more uplifting mornings than I do. But to go from, oh my goodness, I can feel my body decaying from the inside, to, do you know what? I can just sit and relax and have a drink and read a book. It's so much better. And I'll also just touch on this very quickly. A friend of mine said to me, oh, you don't meditate, because I remember you saying in one of your live videos ages ago that you don't really like meditation. And it wasn't that I don't like meditation, it's just that I always found it very difficult. I don't know if you've noticed, I move around a lot. I am never still. So I find just sitting still and meditating, I find it hard. I did Tai Chi for a year, and that was the best kind of meditation for me because I could move around at the same time. But I'm trying again to get back into it. Again, with no goals, with no, I have to meditate for X amount of minutes every day. I'll do it for, however many, I can't speak, for however many minutes is comfortable as and when feels good. And I'd like to pursue this, but it's okay to just do things as and when they feel good and not have all this pressure of, well, my morning routine has to consist of this, and this, or else the whole day's a wreck. It isn't. Like I say, I have this routine that I do every day. I drink my water, I stretch, I read, I journal. But none of it feels like a chore today. None of it feels like pressure. It just feels like the right thing to do. I take care of my body. I take care of my mind. Then I journal, do my affirmations, do my gratitude. And that takes care of my soul and my spirit and my emotional well-being. And those 3 things combined are just the best way for me to start my day. Whew. This has been a long video. This has been the longest I've done for a while. Thank you so much for staying with me. Thank you for listening. I really do appreciate all of your support. Let me know, of course, in the comments down below how you are getting on your smoke-free journey. Also, I mentioned this last week, just to remind you, you can now get the ebook version of my book, Quit Smoking and Be Happy, for free if you are an Amazon Kindle Unlimited user. The links for that are down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye.